Hello, welcome to your practice today. This class is called Lemonade, and they say when life gives you lemons, we got to make lemonade. So maybe you've chosen this class because you're having a hard day. Maybe you've just chosen this class because you're joining me for 14 days, and this is the class that I've chosen to offer you. Whatever it is that you are bringing onto the mat today, just know that it is welcome. And this practice is going to be quite a juicy, slow flow. And I've also grabbed a bolster here. We're going to be focusing on opening up through the front of the body. And this is going to be a nice addition to a few of the poses later on in the class. So if you have a bolster, then great. If you don't worry about it. You could grab something similar to a bolster, or I'll give you modifications and options as we get to that part of the class. So for now, just pop that to one side. And I've got a couple of blocks as well. It's just my preference for my practice, but you choose whatever makes you feel most comfortable. And then come to a seat. Elevating the hips on a prop if you have something to hand. And then lengthening the spine here. And I'd love to invite you just to recognize what it is that you are bringing onto the mat today. If you're feeling overwhelmed, let down, frustrated, energized, happy, excited, or anything else, see if you can notice that. Just recognize how it is that you're landing here. Knowing that it's welcome. Knowing that you've arrived in this space for a reason. You've chosen to carve out the time in your day to nurture and honor yourself and your practice. And through that nurturing, through that connection, we remind ourselves that we're not alone, that we are supported and in this harmonic vibration with every other being, that our heart has the capacity to love and be loved beyond the bounds or the limitations created by the mind. So let's bring the hands to the heart, the center of compassion. And let's set a simple intention together today to offer ourselves that compassion. It can be so much easier to give it away to others. And oftentimes we forget how much we need our own compassion and how to be kind to ourselves. So this is the space for you to take whatever it is that you're carrying and meet it with kindness. Offer yourself a practice of compassion. Take a deep breath in. And a big sigh, let that breath go. Let's bring ourselves to stand at the top of the mat. So if you have two blocks, I like placing them one either side of the mat. And then come to standing Samastitihi. So mountain pose, equal standing pose, rooting down through the feet, palms facing forwards, shoulders rolling back. And as you roll your shoulders back, can you feel the opening through the front of the chest? There's a gentle gathering up of Mula Bandha, so lifting of the pelvic floor, so that as you root down through the feet, there's this opposing extension, lifting, elevation through the crown of the head. Let's take a couple of breaths here. And inhale, reach your arms up alongside your ears. Interlace the fingers, first fingers reach high. Heel toe your feet hip width apart if they're not already there. And then lift up from underneath your ribs. As you exhale, start to pull the body over to the left side. And then come back up, inhale. And exhale over to the other side. Keep both feet rooting down. Take an inhale, come back to center. And let's just move from side to side. So exhale to the left. Inhale to center. And exhale to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale left. Inhaling. And exhaling. Coming into the center, interlace your hands behind your back, maybe finding the opposite interlace this time, one finger along, opening up through the chest. There be a little softness in the knees, and let that softness be an invitation for the rest of the body to follow suit. So notice if there's an opportunity here to soften through the jaw, perhaps. Just breathing into the chest. And then let those hands release. We're going to inhale, reach them up alongside the ears. Exhale, fold all the way down. Lengthen your spine, look up halfway. Plant your palms and step your left foot to the back of the mat and drop the left knee down to the floor. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Lengthen your tailbone down. Feel an opening through the front of the left thigh. Breathe. Good. And then take an inhale in. And as you exhale, start to send your hips back. Now, this is where the blocks might be in handy, particularly at the beginning of practice, where the body might feel particularly tight. And just sending breath to anywhere that you feel tension in the body. So the frustration or the busyness or whatever it is that's going on in the mind, as we send breath to the body, imagine that we're also letting that create space in every layer of the body and in the mind as well. Good. Maybe we move in a little flow here. So inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, send the hips back. Keep lifting up out of the left knee so you're not collapsing. And we're also keeping the lower back long. Good. Maybe one more here, lifting up. And exhale back. Good. Place the right foot onto the floor. Frame it with the hands. Pick up the back knee, and step to the top of the mat. Take an inhale, lengthen forwards, and exhale, fold over your toes. Rise up to standing, inhale, and exhale, fold all the way down. Lengthening forwards, shift the weight to the left foot, and the right foot steps to the back of the mat, dropping the knee down, hugging the hips forward as you reach your arms over your head. So what we're doing is working with the energy of the body. If something feels like it's stagnant or holding you back, we're starting to use the movement and the breath to energize, to shift, and to let things flow through and out the body with the breath. Good. Take another inhale. And exhale, hips back. Good. So if, like me, hamstrings are feeling particularly tight today, which can happen because we've done too much activity, because we haven't done enough activity, or for loads of other reasons, so don't label it or attach too much of a story to it. Just be compassionate about the way that you approach the pose. So use blocks so that you can keep the spine long. And try not to put too much pressure in the back of the left knee. And then we'll find a little flow here. So inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, send the hips back. Inhale, coming forwards. And exhale, take the hips back. We'll do that a few more times, just using your breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. This time, as you inhale, bend the left knee, frame the foot with the hands, pick up the back knee, and step to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold over your toes. Rise to standing, reach the arms alongside your ears, and then interlace the hands behind your back. Open up through the chest. And as you exhale, bend your knees and fold forwards. See if you can draw the palms towards one another as you fold. Doesn't matter if they separate, but the action, the intention is there as you lift your hands into the space behind you. Good. Push down through the feet. Come all the way up. Reach your arms alongside your ears. And exhale. Let's just have a little shake. Shake of the arms, shake of the legs. And come back to Tadasana. Good. Let's inhale, raise the arms high. Exhale, fold the body forwards. Spine lengthens, look up halfway. Step the left foot to the back of the mat, warrior one. Bend the right knee, rise up. Good. Draw your front ribs towards one another. Keep the lower back long. And really activate through this right leg. So hugging back through the glutes. And keep the knee tracking forwards in line with your toes. Good. How is the breath here? Can you allow the breath to create space in body and mind? Take an inhale, lengthen the right leg, and exhale, begin to fold forwards. Good. Chest extends into the space in front of you. And exhale, fold. Good. You can use a block or slide your hand onto your shin as you open up into Utita Trikonasana, triangle pose. Extend through the crown of the head. Hug up through the inner thighs. Soften your shoulders away from your ears. Can you feel the tailbone extending in the opposite direction to the crown of the head? And then look down at your right foot. Place your left hand onto the floor and pick up your left heel. You're going to root to the left hand down and reach the right arm up. You might choose to place a block underneath that left hand. You might choose to drop the back knee down to the floor. So lots of options to choose from, taking a little twist here. Good. So really extend through the back heel. No collapsing through the hips. Take an inhale in and drop that left knee down to the floor. We're going to reach back and take hold of the left foot in the right hand. So using a block can make this a little bit more accessible. You want to try not to be right on the top of the knee and actually on a little bit of the soft tissue above the knee and the thigh. That'll give you a little bit more padding. Opening up over the right shoulder. Breathe. And you find a sense of peace through the breath, spaciousness in body and mind. Good. Let's release the back foot. Bring the right hand to the inside of the right leg. Now again, props can be really handy for tight bodies or bodies that need a little bit of extra support. Hands could be on the ground. Good. Now as you inhale, start to lift your chest forwards, taking the gaze up, roll your shoulders down the back of your body. Let's turn the right toes out, either keeping the blocks underneath your hands or placing the hands onto the floor. You're going to tuck the back toes, lift your knee, bend the knee and send the left foot to the outside of the left hand. So again, options. You can use your blocks to support you here, or you can prop any props that you have to one side and come into your malasana. Breathe. Good. Let's place the hands down onto the floor. Turn the feet parallel. Look up halfway, inhale, and exhale, fold. Rise to stand. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Lengthen the spine, halfway lift. Right foot steps to the back of the mat, warrior one. Ground the back heel, energize through the back leg. Reach your arms high. Breathe. Good. Let's lengthen the left leg. Come to fold forwards. Again, using whatever props feel appropriate on this side of the body. Try to maintain that length through the spine so we're not collapsing down to get the forehead to the knee. Keep energizing through both legs. The left hip is drawing back as the right hip draws forwards. Good, and then from here we can turn the right toes out a touch as we find our triangle pose, Utita Trikonasana. Keep extending through the underside of the waist. Good, looking up to that right hand. Breathe. And then gaze comes down to the floor. Place the right hand down, pick up the back heel. We're in our twist. Left arm reaches high. Energize the back leg. Hips stay square, so the rotation really comes from the upper part of the spine here. And then place the back knee down to the floor, reaching back to take hold of that right foot in the left hand. Looking up to the sky or back over the left shoulder. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever hand you've been dealt today, how can you use this practice to turn it into lemonade? Let's release the back foot. Place the left hand onto the floor. Again, you can use blocks underneath the hands if you need a little bit of extra length. Take an inhale, lift your chest forwards, look up. Proud chest. And then turn your left toes out. Tuck the back toes. Look forwards and step the right foot to the outside of the right hand, coming into your malasana. Send your hips forward. Lift your chest, extending through the crown of the head. And then push through your feet just enough that you can place your hands behind you on the mat. Take a moment, just cross the legs and sit up tall. And breathe. Observe where you are, any shifts in how it is that you're feeling. And then we're going to take hold of our bolster. Now, if you don't have a bolster, don't worry. You can use pillows. If you have some sofa cushions, work really well. You're going to place the bolster onto the floor. And then if you have a block, and again, this is optional, you place the block underneath your bolster. So we've got a little bit of a slope. And depending on what height you choose for your block, you'll get a different kind of slope for the bolster. We're going to start by coming into a hero pose. So taking the other block, if you have two, and bringing it with you. You're going to roll your calf muscles out as you come to sit down on your heels next to your bolster. Now, good practice here is to start by placing the block, underneath your hips and just seeing how it feels. And if this feels really good and you're happy to kind of explore going a little bit deeper, then maybe you start to bring the back of the sacrum to the bolster. Now, if you don't have the bolster, use your hands and just work very gently, coming down perhaps onto the forearms only if you have space. There's no point in going too deep and putting pressure through the knees. So if you hear anything from the knees, come out, find your pose here. And if working with two legs at the same time is too much, you can always go one leg at a time. That can relieve some of the sensitivity in the knees for some people. If you are coming back, you'll then take the block from underneath your seat and start to work backwards, gently lowering yourself onto the bolster. Now, of course, because my bolster is propped up on a block, I won't have to go too far, and that's perfect, because today we're not looking to find our deepest pose. We're looking for somewhere that feels comfortable enough to stay for a little while. We've got this support of the bolster behind the heart and this openness through the front of the body. It's like you're saying, hey, you're going to give me lemons, I'll take them. Meet yourself here. And trust that you have what it takes to overcome whatever it is that life throws at you. And that's not to say that how you feel right now isn't important. It is. Meet yourself there. Let yourself be here. And whatever it is that is. If you are working asymmetrically, then let's switch it over to the other side. And just working with the side of the body that you're on, if you're on your second side now. Let's take another 30 seconds or so here. And then to release, you just start to push into your hands. And we'll fold forwards for a moment in child's pose. If you want to separate the knees, you can. Either hands reaching out in front of you or let them drop back towards your heels. And take a deep breath in. And a big sigh, let that breath go. And placing the hands down onto the floor. Push into your palms, cross the ankles behind you, and come to seated. You can move the bolster to one side. Move any props that you have out of the way. And then come to lie down on the back of the body. Let's take the sole of the left foot onto the right thigh, reaching through to take hold of the back of the leg. And flex the left foot so you feel perhaps an opening sensation in the outside of the left hip. And you could extend that right leg up, pushing through the heel so you get a stretch through the back of the right leg maybe. Circling out the ankle, which can feel quite nice after sitting on the foot for a little while. And placing the foot down onto the floor, swapping over to the other side, so outside of the right foot comes onto the left thigh, hugging that left leg in towards you, taking hold of the back of the thigh or the front of the shin. And a couple of breaths. And then extending the leg up, push through the heel, have a nice little circle out through that ankle. And stretch through the back of the leg. And as you bring the foot down onto the floor, release the right leg and let's let the knees drop out to the sides. Supta Baddha Konasana. Taking the hands either onto the front of the body or up alongside your ears. Take hold of opposite elbows if that's comfortable for your shoulders. And here you are, making lemonade, shifting the energy through your practice, showing up, meeting yourself where you are, and using the power of your practice to transform. Take a deep breath in. And big sigh, letting that breath go. And then take the hands to the outside edges of the thighs, guiding them towards one another. Let's shuffle the hips to the right. Gently let the knees fall over to the left. You can take the gaze over the right or left shoulder, whatever your preference is. And then coming back through the center, shuffle the hips to the left, let the knees fall to the right. And then finding the midline again, hug your knees into your chest. Have a little rock from side to side. And then lengthen your body down onto your mat. Spread the hands away from the side of the body. Shoulders drop away from the ears. Take a deep breath in. And a big sigh to release the breath. And just let yourself be held here. Slowly start to bring movement back to the body, wiggling fingers and toes, stretching out and then hugging the knees in, and either rocking to one side or gently rocking up to seated. And taking your time to find a tall spine, extending up through the crown of the head, and bringing the hands to the heart. We're not in control of everything that comes our way, but we are able to show up, roll out our mats, meet ourselves wherever we are with whatever it is that we're going through. And remind ourselves of our strength and our resilience and our ability to turn lemons into lemonade through the simple power of practice. And take a deep breath in. And a big sigh, let it go. Thank you for your practice today. If you enjoyed this class and you'd like to see more classes from me, then come and join me on The Practice, my online studio, where you'll find hundreds of classes to choose from. I've popped a link to a free trial in the box below, and I really hope you'll come and see me there very soon.